look.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. The next thing is how you get the fabric ready, and I did that for you to try to save time. I have a serger, and that's my absolute favorite way to finish the edges of the fabric. If you don't finish them, this stuff ravels. Now I'm going to, oh, did you see that piece came off? And the more you handle it, the more it will ravel. And so what I do is I take my serger, and if you'll notice on your fabric, all around the outside edge of it, it's been stitched so that it won't ravel. And that protects the fabric. Now that's one way to do it. If you have a sewing machine, you can also do a tighter zigzag, and that'll work. So on the first line, we're going to say after cutting the fabric, you finish the edges by serging or zigzag. So that's all on A. That's the best thing to do if you have those machines, and you can. Now, if you don't have those machines, another thing that you can do is in the store, they sell a little bottle that it's about that tall, and it's called No Fray. And you can take that little bottle, if we pretend that's my bottle, and you just run a little row of the glue all around there, and then you let it dry, and it glues the edges together so that it can't fray again. So that's something else you can do. So on B, it's going to say no fray. So I'm either going to serge it or zigzag it, or I'm going to use no fray. Now my least favorite, but it will work if you need it to, is to use tape on it. And most people use a real thin masking tape. But Liz was mentioning the other day maybe using paint tape, because it wouldn't probably get as gummy when you go to take it off. But you've got that extra 3 inches out there, so it'll be okay. You have to finish the edge of your fabric.
Hold on just a second. Are you getting it? Is there a good connection? Because for some reason, we are not on the broadband.
Nope, it's good. It's good.
Is it? Okay.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
I grew up all my life using masking tape.
And it works okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't hear what she had said for A, B, and I heard what she said for C, but not for A and B. Can you
see it on my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is serging or zigzagging. That's going to require either a serger or a sewing machine. And the second one is a fabric glue that's called No Fray. And you would pick it up like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Hancock's or maybe even Walmart.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, we're getting close. Everybody hang with me. Now, when you look at your fabric, you'll see that there's a color thread running one way and then the other. Those are marking your centers. And normally you would have to do that yourself. You just get some bright color or dark color sewing thread, and you thread your needle, and you go about every 3 or 4 squares, and you just run that stitch in a row. And the way you find the center is you take your fabric, let's do it this way, and fold it in half, and you find the row that's closest to the middle, and you start on one end and just sew all the way across, and then you do the same thing the other way. Now, like I said, I did that for you this time. But when you work on your own, you would have to put those centers in there. Now, once you've done that, then you take your pattern, and this is what I do need you to do. So you need your ruler, and you need your colored pen or your highlighter, and you're going to take your pattern, and see it'll have little arrows. And you're going to take the ruler, and you're going to run it across here, line it up all the way across, and take your colored pen, and you're going to draw it. And then you're going to do the same thing going this way. Now, I noticed on some of your patterns, like if you look at the one that's right down here, David, can you get that one? See how it's not right on a row? It's in the middle of a row. But you'll see that I stepped over to a row to mark it, and that's perfectly okay to do that, but you want to be in the row, not in the middle of it. Does that make sense?
Give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Good.
Okay, So everybody got your pattern marked with your centers so that it matches now the centers on your pattern, on your fabric?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
When you do, give me a thumbs up.
Take your time. We're in no rush.
No, we've got plenty of time.
Joe,
But
you
they-
just changed my life. For 40 years, I've been counting row by row. Find my center. I always hate the beginning because
Yeah.
I count the whole entire thing. So
This is much easier. And if you were filling it all in, I just learned something the other day. This one is one where there are no empty squares. And I was watching a tutorial on YouTube the other day, and she was talking about that you take a pencil and you actually draw all the grid in because it's going to be covered up with a thread.
Oh.
Now, I never thought about doing that.
Yeah, I have taken a pencil and marked in the back side of mine so I could, once I found the middle. But yeah, so.
Yeah. If you're going to cover it all up, well, then you can just leave it. You know, you can go ahead and do the lines on it. And it's fine. But I've never done that. I never even thought of it before.
Yeah.
But you mark the centers.
Yeah. My life has now changed. So.
Good. Well, I'm glad I could do some little bitty thing to enhance your life.
It only took 40 years for me to learn that one. So there's hope for old dogs. So you guys are 10 steps ahead of me.
Well, I feel really bad because I'm an English teacher by trade, and I broke that word in the wrong place. So, ladies, you'll have to forgive me because that note is you use a colored pen, a straight edge to mark the centers on the pattern. And it just broke weird. Sorry about that. Okay, we're getting ready to start because the next thing we're going to fill in is most cross stitch is done with 2 strands of thread. And it's really important that you remember that because in probably next week, we're going to talk about times that you use 1 thread, but there's very specific reasons that you do that. Most of the time, it's 2 strands of thread. And the way that you do that is that you actually only take 1 strand, but we're going to work it for 2. Now, I realized if you've never used something like I did this butterfly and you've never shown livestock, you don't know about this kind of knot. Now, if you've shown calves, you've probably used this kind of a slip knot. But see how it's got a loop right there? You're going to pull the loop down, and when you do, the thread is going to come off of your butterfly. And when you're ready to put it back, you stick the loop through there, open it up, and put it back. That way you don't lose your thread.
I use types of knots.
What was C through 6? I didn't get anything.
Okay. What are you?
Okay. Do you have your butterfly with all your thread on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's still filling out her page.
Oh, on 6, it's used a colored pen.
No.
No?
C.
Up here?
Yeah.
That on the tape?
Tape.
You can take a piece of tape and lay it where the center of the tape goes here, and you stick it down on this side, and then you turn this over and you put the tape over and stick it down on that side, and it keeps it from fraying.
And then what's 5?
And 5 is you're going to use your sewing thread to mark the centers on the fabric. That's what I did for you, where this is here, and it marks this center, and this one marks this center, and it should already be done on yours.
Okay, and then 6 and 7.
Well, we haven't done 7 yet, but 6 is you're going to take your pen and your ruler, and you're going to mark the centers on your pattern, just like I marked them on your fabric.
Okay.
Can you see? Does it show on this one? Can you kind of see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're back with us now. Now on 7, we did start on it. On most cross stitch, it's done with 2 strands of thread. So what I need you to do, and I can't do this for you because there's so many different patterns. So I want you to watch what I'm doing. When you go to this pattern, the center lines meet right there. So when I start stitching, I'm going to come to the centers and decide which way am I going to go. And I'm going to use this cross in that corner right there, and I'm going to stitch this row right here. Okay? Is everybody with me so far? Find the center of your pattern, and then pick the symbol that tells you what color you're going to use. Let's see. Several of you have got this pattern, I think. So if I were doing this one, I would take my color, and David is right over me with camera, so I'm going to get in the way for just a second so I can see. But I'm going to take that, so that line is bright so I can see it. And then I'm going to do the same thing going this way. Now, if I were doing this pattern, probably what I would do is pick this one right here. Okay? And so when I go down on my pattern and I look at it, here is that same pattern, that same little symbol. See how it's got the 4 pieces? And there it is right there. And that tells me that it's number 436, light brown. Now, some of you have got patterns that show, let's see if I can find one. Some of the older students have got a list that says anchor thread and DMC. Everybody's using DMC. It's the easiest to find in this part of the country. So DMC is what's on your butterfly to show you. So everybody find what color it is that you're going to use. In this one, it would be 436. Go to your butterfly, undo that loop, and get 1 strand of that color. Now that's a lot of instructions, so if you don't understand, then you need to ask.
Anybody got a question?
So what are we doing? I'm behind.
Okay, you're
Well,
fine, Rachel.
Let's look at it this way. David pointed this out, and it's a good thing for me to mention. Have most of you done paint by number?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in paint by number, they give you a symbol in the shape where they want you to put a particular color. This is exactly the same thing, except you're doing it with thread. So find your center, find the symbol that you want to use to do your first stitch, then go to your butterfly, and on your butterfly, I've actually numbered them. So if I go to the pattern and it says number 436, then on my butterfly, there's a spot that says 436, and I take the thread out of that one.
Okay.
And if you're having trouble, if you can tell me what pattern you're using, I can probably find it here and help you find what color to start with.
So symbol equals color that you're going to stitch with.
Exactly. Just like the symbol equals paint.
Are we starting with the cross stitch or the half stitch?
No, we're doing cross stitches first. We're not going to do any half stitches until the end of class today.
All right, Camry, go.
Do we need 1 piece of thread or 2?
Just take out the whole set that's in the hole right now and hang on to it, because I'm going to show you how to separate it, okay?
Okay.
But you have to decide which color you want. If you're doing the bear with the heart, then you're probably going to use, let's use the green, because the white is not going to show up real well. So it would be better if we use the green first, the 986 green. Okay?
Danny's got the rooster.
The windmill rooster or the rise and shine rooster?
Show me one more time, Danny. It looks like the one on the weather vane.
This one?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and so we're going to take the center.
Betting it's that heart.
And it's going to be right there. And then, I picked up my pencil instead of my ink pen. That's what happens when you have too many things laying out here and you can't remember what you're doing. Okay. So we got the center on that one, and then we're going to do the center this way. Well, I don't know. You could do the triangle shapes and get that heart taken care of first, and the triangle shape would be the 3777. Does that make sense?
So if you,
I
yeah,
use the heart.
okay.
You're going to use the heart one? This one?
Yeah.
You can do that. You can. But just notice that this is not, you probably would want to start with that heart because it's the one that's where the two meet. So the first thing you'll probably do is go across this way. But you're going to start with that one.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else need me to pull your pattern?
Kemper, are you good?
Emma,
I think Emma did.
what
Good.
do you have?
I have a horse weather band.
Okay.
A horse weather vane.
Yep. Got that one too. So far, we're batting 1,000. Oh, you're going to definitely need the black squares because when I do this way and go all the way across there, it's all black squares. And then when I go this way, it's the same kind of thing. And so you're probably going to pick up this one and go that direction.
Okay.
Is anybody else?
It's a 310.
You got it?
You good?
I'm good.
One of the teachers was talking earlier and said that it is so hard when you first start because you can see there's so many things we have to do to get it going. Once you're going, then it's pretty easy. So just stay with us on all the steps and you'll be good. Okay. Now, to answer that question about the thread, when you pull that off, I want you to look real closely at this thread and you'll see that it's made up of 6 strands. And we're just going to pull one, only one. So I'm going to get over here and get hold of just this one. And notice how I'm holding that with my thumb and finger. And I've got that one kind of separated. Then I'm going to just pull and it'll come right out of there from the other 6 and and it won't be knotted up. But if you try to just pull it apart like that, it causes it to twist and it'll knot. So I've got out my one thread that I want. Then I'm going to take my other 5. And so I don't get them mixed up, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it back on my butterfly. And remember, I do that by putting the loop through and then taking the 2 strands through it. Everybody that far?
No.
Okay. Do you need me to go over it
Thumbs up
again?
when you're that far.
Everybody will have 1 strand out.
Okay.
And their other threads will be back
Good
on the
job.
butterfly.
How did we get it out without it like knotting up? How did we do that?
Okay, let me do it again for you. It's easier to show you than it is to tell you.
Okay, can you see Joe? Can you see Joe's video?
But yeah, I can. I'm on like the one, like the person who's talking is the main
Yes.
screen.
Uh-huh. Okay, see how you go?
Oh, she froze up.
You just hold on to the 5 strands and pull the one out slowly, okay?
Don't think Joe knows that she froze up. No, maybe she did.
You good? Just keep going, Kemper. You can pull a little
You're
faster.
good.
Yeah, you hold it, separate the one, and keep holding it, and pull the other one up.
Yep, you're doing fabulous.
That's it. Now you're going to take your thread, your other thread, and put it back on your butterfly. by folding it in half and putting the loop back through your butterfly and sticking the loose ends back through. She's back.
Okay, we lost you for a minute. Did you lose me?
Yep, we lost you. But we talked Kemper through it. She got her thread out, I think.
Okay. Sometimes somebody else just needs to say it a little bit different. It just clicks. So that's good. Okay. Now remember I said cross stitch is done with 2 strands, but I only had you pull 1. So how is that going to work? Well, that's the next blank on your thing. This is going to be done by taking 1 strand and then putting both ends through the eye of the needle together. Okay? So I can't undo this because it'll fray back out on me. But see how I've got 2 strands right there? And they're both through the needle. But on the other end, I just have the loop because it's divided in half. So you're going to take this thread. You're going to have to back up enough so you can see it. We're going to take this thread. You're going to take each end, and we're going to bring the ends together. Okay? And then we're going to put those 2 ends together through the eye of the needle. And naturally, I don't have an extra needle with me, but so they're both going to go through there together. So there's the 2.
If you want to slow down, I haven't caught up.
Okay, Hayes.
Okay, where are you, hon? What can I do for you?
I accidentally knotted it. Ugh.
We'll get you another thread because I gave everybody extra thread. Just pull another one.
Same color.
Same color as thread.
Cut your knot off.
Well, that's true. You can do that.
If that would work and go quicker, just cut your knot off.
Where do I put it after I'm done?
Put where? What, honey?
Have you put the 2 ends together and threaded both of the ends through the needle? And if you do, show it to me.
Liz, is that a better connection?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. For some reason, a while ago, it was not picking up the broadband, and it is now. So hopefully we won't have that problem again.
Okay, let me remind you. You got 1 strand. You got an end in each hand. You're going to bring the 2 ends together. You're going to take your needle, and you're going to put both through there.
With the loop in the other end.
Now, when you do that, these 2 ends are still going to stay together, but now the thread creates a loop in the end, and we're going to need that loop in just a moment. So this part is going to come maybe halfway down.
Is that the needle halfway down?
Halfway down, the 2 ends will be halfway down to the loop.
Okay, so Kemper, you're still working on getting it threaded, right? Okay. Tanya and Emily, are you okay?
Joe, can I
Yes,
lick
ma'am.
my ends to put them in the, are you against that?
Am I what?
Can I lick my ends to get them through the eye?
Well, I was kind of worried about this class because of that, because I always lick my thread to thread it. And I know probably there's going to be somebody out there that's going to go, ooh, yuck, that's not very sanitary. Nobody handles my thread but me, only me. And when I get ready to do this, I always start by washing my hands. I probably should have reminded you that, because if any of you are lotion users, you don't want lotion freshly on your hands and then do this, because that oil will get in the fabric. So I consider it clean. Now I worried enough about it that I got online and I checked, and they actually had a suggestion where you use hairspray to hold the ends together and thread it with that. I don't own any hairspray, and I'm probably going to keep on licking it, just to be honest, but there's an option.
Can
Emperor,
you do that again? I'm not sure.
Are you having trouble?
Good picture of that.
I have a picture of what?
You
Of
good,
getting
Kemper?
that threaded and how
Okay.
far down the needle
Kemper's
goes.
good.
Okay, one more time. You got the ends of the threads. You bring them
Kemper?
together. Get them even. I lick it. Then I thread my needle so that both the two are going through there. And I pull it where it's about halfway from the needle down to the loop that's created at the end.
Okay.
And then do they tie a knot?
Does what touch, huh?
Do they tie a knot on?
No knots.
No,
No
no.
knots. Matter of fact, that's going to be the answer to number 8 on their paper. Cross-stitch pictures should avoid knots on the back of the picture. And I'm going to show you how you would end it. Any of you that do any sewing, you know that, like, if you're hemming a pair of pants or something, you're going to knot it at the end. You've knotted it at the beginning to get started. You're going to knot it at the end. You don't use knots in cross-stitch. It's kind of like quilting. Quilting, your knots are never seen. And in cross-stitch, you don't ever use a knot. So the answer to number 8, since it's already come up, is cross-stitch.
We lost her again.
Liz, the reason no knots is so the picture will lay flat, right?
That's right. And you really want your work to look at
Yes, and also you've got holes in the fabric. You've also got holes in the fabric that a lot of knots would pull through.
Mhm.
And so knots don't work well anyway.
Can you hear her? Can you hear Joe, Liz?
She cut out for just a minute, but she came right back. So
Okay, knots just don't work with cross stitch, so no knots. And to the point that if you are working on your picture by yourself and you can't remember how to do this without a knot, stop and call me or text me or email me or something, and I'll work you through it again. Because if you want to win at the fair, if that's part of your motivation, you cannot have knots in your cross stitch. Okay? That's a serious no-no. Okay, I want to show you using my big pattern before you actually start stitching. And I know you're probably beginning to feel like I'm never going to let you stitch, but it's not true. I am. But I want to show you. So I want to show you why that loop is important. Here's my fabric, and my needle comes through. Now I'm not going to pull it all the way, and I'm going to put it back again, creating a part of a cross. That's why it's called a cross stitch. Now I'm going to lay this down over on the back. Remember that loop I have? I'm going to put my needle through the loop. And now look, I have no knot, but my thread is anchored, so I can go ahead and do my other stitches. So I want everybody to do their first stitch, and I'm going to do this again so that you can see it one more time. Okay, I've counted to the square where I'm going to go.
See the back?
You want the back?
Yeah.
Okay. So I put my needle through, but I'm not going to pull it all the way. Then I'm going to do the cross and go through the loop on the back. Now, please notice that both times I did that, I did the bottom left to the upper right. That's another thing the judges are going to look at. That's how cross stitch is supposed to be done. You're always supposed to have this first.
Kimber
Okay,
has a
Kimber
question.
has a question.
Okay?
Do we do this on this thing? On the little piece of
On your fabric.
On your
yes.
fabric.
You
Yes.
know wherever
You're gonna
your
do it.
center is?
Yeah, this is just an example.
This is just an example so you can see it. If I try to do it on my fabric, it's so small.
what? Was it
The fabric is so
See it.
small, it will be hard to see. So she has made an example that's bigger so you could see it.
It's just any spot on the fabric?
No, where is your center? Remember, we're going to start at the center.
So
And
you want
the
to,
color by the of your thread by whatever's in the center of your pattern.
so you're putting a stitch where on your pattern that color marker was, that
Okay.
that symbol was.
Let's turn this around and let me mark on this and I'll show you. Okay, I don't know if this is dark enough. Maybe it is. Can you see the green on this? That represents my thread that's marking my centers. Okay, now let's say that on my pattern I decided I'm going to do one of these first, right? Then you're going to do that bottom left, upper right, like I just did in that square. You're just going to do that one stitch.
So it takes 4 holes to make a cross. Okay.
So there's my cross. I'm doing the one right here from my pattern. I don't pull it all the way through because on the back, I've got to go through that loop.
Wait. What loop?
Do you remember how when you threaded your needle, you took the 2 ends and put them through the needle? And on the other end of your thread was a loop.
No? No one told me that.
You do?
No.
Okay, take both
Okay.
ends. Okay, take one end.
Let's go back to the thread again.
Go to the other end of your thread.
Okay. See, my one piece of thread is all I have. Do you see it? Okay, I've got an end here and an end here, and I'm gonna put those together. Now, when I do that, those 2 are gonna go through the needle, and look what's at the other end.
A loop.
A loop, exactly. So you're gonna thread your needle. And then when you do that first stitch, I'll try to do it on the fabric.
And what do you mean you thread your needle?
Pardon? Say it again.
What'd she say?
Thread your needle?
Uh-huh. Put the 2 ends through your needle together.
Wait. What? Oh. Never mind.
Oh, I got it.
All right. Anybody else got struggles?
I love those moments when it makes sense.
It's okay if you do. This is not an easy. This is not easy to get started, but once you get the hang of it, you will absolutely.
It just flies. Yeah, it's fun.
Danny, you doing okay? Okay.
Okay, so you find where you're gonna come through the fabric.
Paisley, did you have a question?
Do I have this threaded right?
All right, let's see it. Hold it in front of the camera. All right, so far so good. Let's see the end.
No. It
Yeah,
doesn't look like it.
she's got a loop.
Okay, but it looks like it looks a lot thicker than one thread. It looks like it's several threads.
Show us the end that's not the loop. Nope,
Okay. Yep, you got it.
yeah. Now,
You got it, Paisley.
make the loop longer than the two ends. So it's like loop down here, two ends, so they're not even.
Okay.
Miss Jo, was that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what mine is. Do you see? The loops way down here and the ends are right there. About halfway is okay.
All right. Isabella, you doing okay?
Okay.
Oh crap.
You're okay, Kimber.
You're okay, Kimber.
Emma, you making it all right? Okay.
Good.
Oh, I'm gonna, is it Avonlea? It's not. I just butchered it, didn't I? Are you doing all right, girlfriend? Okay.
Yeah, I got my mom here.
Okay. So,
That's okay.
So confused.
You have your
well-
own in-house teacher. That's good.
right.
Yeah, it's Avonlea.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. Rachel, are you doing okay? All right.
Poor Kimber is just
Okay. We got everybody there?
Almost.
almost.
Okay.
We're working with Kimber's still working on getting the needle threaded, I think.
Well, you know, those threads are not near as much a danger falling on the floor as those needles are.
That's true.
My mom has this great system. She just has me walk around barefooted, and I find all her lost needles.
Oh, good, good. That's what my husband does for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've had my fair share.
Uh-huh.
It's the innocent that get hit.
Yeah.
Well, we always just told my dad that he just had magnets in his feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
And that's a great gift to have for your seamstress people.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing that first stitch.
Okay.
You tell me when.
Kimber, are you okay for us to go on for just a minute, or you need another minute to get that? Okay, she's saying hold on.
Okay.
Oh, don't cry. It's all good.
Okay, so speaking of things you need to know, do you know what you call a duck that gets all A's?
A wisecracker.
Yes, yes.
I have grandchildren. That one I got.
Yep. And do you know what you call 3 ducks in a box?
What?
Well, I bet it's going to be a
box of crackers.
Do you know why Christmas trees make terrible cross stitchers?
Oh, Liz, you go. Why?
Because they always drop their needles.
Did you make that up, or did you actually get a cross-stitching joke?
I found well, I converted it to a cross-stitching joke.
You have the ultimate. That is the ultimate. That is fabulous. I'm gonna have to add that to my. I really
Yep.
thought we were gonna get an elephant joke. So
I
I
thought
got
we
plenty
were
of those.
too.
You know I love elephant jokes.
do you guys want to hear my favorite? Liz, tell my favorite elephant joke
Which one was that?
about the ducks.
Oh, okay. Do you know why ducks have webbed feet?
Anybody?
About forest fires. Do you know why elephants' feet are round and flat? To stomp out burning ducks.
You'll get that later. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that joke. That's my ultimate. Of course, everybody's getting tired of my Meals on Wheels jokes, so I'm gonna have to come up with new ones. So,
Does anyone want to hear an Adele joke?
Oh, yes.
Emily does this so well. Go, Emily.
Okay. So why did Adele cross the road? To
Why?
say hello from the other side. Anyone get that? Oh, I had a few laugh at that one.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
We only let Emily sing during that joke. So.
Yep. That's the only time.
Do you know how you get a giraffe in a refrigerator?
How?
You open the refrigerator and stick the giraffe in and close the door.
Oh.
Do you
So
know how you get an elephant in the refrigerator?
This is so very important. You need to know this. Go, Liz.
You open up the refrigerator, take out the giraffe, and stick the elephant in.
You could probably win $1 million with this knowledge. So.
I know. Okay, how are you doing, Kemper?
He's almost there. Don't panic.
Almost there.
All right. Kemper, we're going to bring you up when you get that done, but I'm going to let Miss Jo do the next step. Don't panic. We'll get you there, okay?
Okay, Jeff.
Okay, the first thing we need to do is everybody look at your pattern and figure out how many squares you're going to go. If you're doing the horse, we're right here in this square. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to stop because we got a blank spot. So whatever pattern you're looking at, you got to look at the center and see. This one, we just have the 1 right there. And then we're going to go up catty corner, and we're going to do 2 more. Okay? You've got to look at your pattern and tell. If you're doing the little bear, then the center, I think, is right there. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So when I go back to my board, this way. Then I'm going to do a row all going the same angle. So I'm only doing half of the cross for however many I've got to go over there. Now my board's going to run out, so I'm not going to get to do my 7. Now, you know what I'm going to do going back? Anybody know? I'm going to cross all of those.
Break.
Okay. That's how I'm getting my crosses. Are there any questions? Because I did all of them this way, and then I came back and crossed them.
So the loop is only used on the first one?
Right. The loop's only used on the first one. And here's the trick. You got to make sure these little tails that you had don't get so short that they slide through your needle.
Okay,
So
I
when
think
you're
we
getting-
have a question.
Okay?
It says Kate and Kara.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just Kate. So once you have the first row in, do we go up or down on the pattern?
It doesn't matter. You're just going to count and fill it in just like if you were painting. So when I get back over here, I can either come down below and do this row, or I can go up, or maybe I need to even keep going that way. But remember, you always do the first stitch this direction.
Okay.
Always. Now let me show you one other thing right quick since my thread is running out. Remember I told you no knots, even on the back. Well, there's kind of an interesting thing. Notice on the front, you've got X's. On the back, you've got straight lines. So you can always tell the front from the back. But I'm not going to do a knot on this thread. Instead, I'm real gently going to put it under these. And I'm going to pull it through. And now it will stay there. No knot. It needs to go under at least 3 or 4 of them, and then it will stay.
Okay, Kemper, pull your thread through your hole, okay? And let's run it through the loop, okay? Miss Jo, can I see the back of your thing for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that Kemper can see. So see where you're just gonna thread it through that original hole, and with the loop on the back side.
I have a question. How many threads are supposed to be in my needle?
1 thread that's been done in half so that you put the 2 ends through. So it'll look like 2 strings.
Which is what you have, right? Okay, now pull it through. The loop is on the back side, and there you go. Because we start from the underside, right, Miss Jo?
Yes, from the underside.
And you start at the bottom left-hand corner.
Or the top right. It doesn't matter. You just have to have that angle first.
Flip it over, pull the needle through. Miss Jo, can she see it again?
See which one? This? What do I need to show?
Does that make sense, Kemper?
Yes. Now what do I do?
Okay. Kemper, look. I'm coming in from the back through the hole. I'm going to pull the needle. I'm going to do the angle that I need. I'm going to turn it over. And there's my loop. My needle is going to go through that loop. And then I'm going to gently pull. And there it's caught without a knot. And now I have 2 strands going through my needle.
Wait, where do I poke the needle? Like one next to it?
At an
Okay,
angle.
Go to
Which
your center and choose one of your holes. Choose a hole because you're going to have to figure out which line you're going to do on your pattern. And you'll go to the bottom. You'll go to the bottom.
Kimber, which pattern are you using?
Rooster weather vane.
Okay, and were you going to do the triangles for the heart that's in the middle of the rooster, or were you doing the hearts that are the outside?
I'm doing a triangle that's inside the heart.
Okay, so where you need to make your first stitch is right there where those cross. You're going to do that stitch first.
Can you point that out on the other thing first?
It's
fabric?
green. See it? Well, I don't have a fabric I've already started on that one, honey. I don't have one. If on this one, if this were the piece that I was using,
Okay.
it would be that square right there. So I would come in right there on the bottom of it, and I'd go up to there. It would be touching, that first stitch would touch both of my center threads. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It would come in right there and go down right there.
From the back?
From the back. Now, Kimber, yours is a little bit different because you've only got the one triangle right there. So you're going to make the cross over that first stitch, and then you're going to turn around and do the other one. So you'll have an X immediately on your fabric.
All right, so everybody, if you could hold what you're stitching up to the screen so we can see how everybody else is going.
Okay. Georgia looks good. Cambry looks good. I think the Criners look good. Rachel.
Isabella, let's see what you got, girlfriend.
I lost my needle accidentally, so can you give me a little bit of time to try to find it?
Absolutely, Emma.
I need help because I don't know which way I need to go. I'm doing the sheep one that says all we like sheep have gone astray.
I have that one right here.
All right, so Isabella, what color did you break out with?
It's this one, the like sandstone.
What's the
In the
icon look
gate?
like?
It's like one dot.
Okay.
Is it making the gate?
Yeah, like the, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to get this done real quick. All right. As you get experienced, if I were doing this, I would probably come up to like right here, and then I'd run that whole row. But since you're just starting, go ahead and start right where the crosses are, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches.
So you're just going to stitch straight down 8
Or
X's.
you could go to the side. It doesn't really make any difference, but you got to know how many stitches you're going to make.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I have a question. Where do I put my second stitch? Like, it's like this?
Above the, okay, so you're at the bottom of the heart, Kemper, so you're going to go above it. Right, Miss
And
Jo?
to the side. See how there's one right here, and there's 3 above it. So when you've crossed that one, then you're going to come up to this one. So you're going to step over one block from the center and above the other center line, and you're going to do 3 this time, and then come back and cross them.
Emma, don't panic. Go, Kemper. I'm sorry.
How do I do 3?
Well, you do one like that, and then you do another one like that, and then you do another one like that, and then you come back. And that'll fill in 3 squares. Right?
Kemper, do you see?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Other questions?
Anybody else? Do I need to pull up your pattern?
Yes, Danny asked, do we use the pattern? So do you mean like to stitch, like match up to, Danny? Unmute yourself and ask.
Yes.
No, you can't.
So Miss Jo, Danny wants to know how we use the pattern to match up to the color. So.
Oh, this one is a better one to show that. See how right down here she's doing the triangles? Then when you come to the key, it has the triangle right there, and it tells you it's 3777. And on the butterfly, it'll say 3777. So she knows what color to pull.
Which pattern is that, girl?
Danny, which one are you on?
I'm using the triangle right now.
No, which pattern are
Yeah,
you?
the rooster. Oh, the rooster weather.
Oh, so that's the rooster weather vane. So that's the one you're on, right? So you're in the same part as Kemper. You're making the heart and you're working from the bottom to the top? Okay.
And you see how this matches your color code?
So I have a question.
Okay, Kate has a question.
Me deal. She's helping me.
Okay.
So
Kate and Kara Wardlow, ask your question.
So after you finish like an area and there's like a large space before the next one, would you go ahead and cut off the string and then start a new area? Or
I do, unless there's only like skipping one square or maybe two. Yeah, I'm going to start over because it causes there to be bulk on the back of your picture, and you have the chance of that showing through the fabric. So if it's more than 2 or 3 squares that you're going to skip, yes, go ahead and slide it through on the back like I did to end it, clip it off, and then start in another place. Now, don't throw that thread away. You can start one this way too. If you don't have a loop, then you can run it under some already existing stitches and you can keep going from there. You just kind of have to hang on to it a little bit. Did that make sense?
You give us a thumbs up.
Since I can't see you, I don't know.
Yeah, you good?
Right.
Kate's good. Thank you, Kate.
Shoot power.
Danny, how are you doing?
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let me give one more.
You doing okay, Kara?
I think I messed up. Is it? I think I did my things right here too long.
Yeah, you should be going from one hole to the hole right next to it.
See the
one hole into the hole right next to it.
Little bitty holes.
It's not looking pretty.
Okay.
Miss Jo, you got an example that maybe we could get up real close to that shows how small the stitching is? All right, see how teeny tiny those stitches are? She's going from one big hole to the next. Okay, Mr. Perryman, get up real close and hold real still and try not to move. I know. I'm asking a lot. Excellent.
Yeah, so Kemper, you're going from one hole in that fabric to another hole that's just above and to the right.
Mr. Perryman, if you'll speak, it'll go back to you and Kemper can see that.
Yeah, okay. And what I'm showing is the little blue crosses there. That was blue thread, and see how each one of those little crosses goes from the holes that are next to each other.
She got it that time. Excellent job. Thank you for that.
Well, we're going to let David teach next time. I didn't know he could do this.
Ain't happening.
But remember, if you're doing it right, there's the front and there's all those little X's, but look what happens on the back. If you're doing it right, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, Danny, you got a knot on the back. Number one issue I always have. Miss Jo, Danny wants to know how you get a giant knot out of the back.
Yeah, it's
Well,
Cover
there's
it up,
two
my
or
picture
three
frame.
different.
Sometimes taking your needle and picking it out will help.
Well, a lot of the times what happens is the knot will be like right there where I'm holding it. And I don't know why this works, but a lot of times you can put your needle right here and just gently keep pulling with your thumb, and the knot will slide all the way up to the needle, and you pull the needle out and then just run your thumb over it and come out. The bad news is sometimes knots don't come out and you have to cut it and start again.
Now, I will tell you all this. Sometimes I can't get a knot out, and I have to lay it down and walk around the house 3 times. Come back, and that knot will come out, okay? But I don't know what happened, so.
I have not tried that. Okay, while she's working on her knot, let me tell you one more thing that I want to do. I've been doing cross stitch for a long time, and I don't do this for myself, but I have been told it's very helpful. Did you notice when I was talking to Kimber a while ago that I highlighted the square she was working on with my highlighter and turned it green? What you may want to do is every time you finish a row, is highlight across that row. Just the stitches you've done, not anything else, but just the ones you've done. And then that way, when you put it down and you sleep tonight and then you get up to look at it tomorrow, you can tell, oh, okay, that's the last row I finished, so I'm going to step one over to do the next row. That's one way to keep up with where you are. Hopefully that's a good tip.
Very good.
Very good.
So,
Paisley, did you have a question earlier? Okay.
How you doing, Georgia? I got a smile and thumbs up. We're good.
Okay, I think Kara has a question.
yeah, so when you're done with the one color, you slide it under the knots on the back and then just cut it?
Yes, you would cut the end off right here after it's gone under at least 3 4 from the better.
So you go under 3 times?
You go under.
You just go
at
straight
least
under
3
these
stitches.
3 stitches on the back.
Okay.
3 or 4 stitches.
Okay, thank you.
Good question,
Okay.
Sarah.
I have one of these. Would this help?
What is it?
It's a
hoop.
Okay, see, I've got hoops laying out on the table. It's one of the things I was going to talk about. I don't like using hoops. Some people do. There's nothing wrong with using one. I just don't like to do it. But what you do is you lay your fabric over, and then the hoop fits into it, and it holds it really tight. And if you're having trouble, see how much better you can see the holes in that fabric because it's so tight? You might want to do this, okay?
I'm going to guess.
Be gentle because it's going over some of your stitches, so you don't want to be rough with it because it could mess up your stitches if you're rough. But that will hold it real tight, and you can do that. Now, if you leave it for a week or a month or 6 months, and it's been in this hoop the whole time, that's not good for your fabric. So if you're going to take a big break, then it's best to take your hoop off. But yes, that's perfectly fine to do that. And they come in all different kinds of sizes. There's even bigger ones than what I have here. Some people actually work it in a hoop and then use it as the frame to hang it on the wall. And you can do that too.
And
that was an excellent question.
We have Kate that has a question.
Okay.
I don't have a question, but I gotta go.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Okay, on the email that you were sent that you got the link on,
yes.
Have any questions? I've given you Miss Jo's email address and her cell phone number.
Okay.
So give her a call and she will help you. And if you we will also meet again on the 2nd of July at 7 o'clock.
Now, wait, before anybody goes, let me give this real quick. If you are working on Cow and Barn or Rise and Shine, or the Bear in the Heart, or the Bear with the Flower, you have got some half stitches. Don't do those until we talk again.
Okay.
Half stitches, if you look at it, it will, like on the Bear in the Heart, you'll see these little weird things that they're not the regular size. Leave those alone.
Okay.
And I will teach you how to do that. We'll talk about it next time. Okay?
Okay, real quick, what were the answers 9 and 10 on the worksheet?
I don't think we did them, but let's see.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah, 9 and 10 are just tips for you. I kind of talked about it. If you're working on dark fabric like this one right here, you need to put something white under it because that'll make the holes show. Okay? So white is the answer on number 9. On 10 is where I was talking about the highlighter. If it's a complicated pattern, use a highlighter to fill in the squares where you've already done them. And it'll help you keep your place. And we'll go over those again next time. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
And I think Georgia had a question. Georgia, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kate.
My question is, what is, on the symbols on our pattern, on the half stitches, what do they look like?
Well, which pattern are you working on?
I'm using the bear with the butterflies.
Okay, the bear with the flower. I'm going to show you where it is. It's not in the part where it talks about the color. It's actually in the pattern. And if you look like right here on the flower, see how that doesn't go all the way across the square? It just does that little piece. Or
like kind of a dot?
Yeah, but see how it doesn't fill the full square? Let me get my ink pen instead of my finger. See how this one is a dot in the center and it doesn't have any lines, but this one is just over in the corner and it has a line right there. You're only going to do a half stitch. The same thing happens up here on the butterfly, like right there and right there. There's one where half of the stitch is the V and half of the stitch is the triangle. And I need to show you how to do that. The same thing happens on the ears.
And,
do you see?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to leave those alone, or you can stay on, and I'll show you how to do it now if you're thinking you're going to get there.
Okay. Okay. Danny has a question.
Okay.
How do you tie it off with something whenever you start like a new color?
Okay, well, when you tie it off, that means I'm finished with that thread. And I go to the back where I have the lines, and I run the thread underneath at least 3 stitches, preferably 4. And then you cut it off.
Okay.
There's no tying it off. There's no making a knot. It just runs under the stitches. And you'd never do that if you were making a pair of shorts because the pressure would pull it. There won't be any pressure on this, so it'll be fine.
Remember, when you start a new color, you'll take the 2 pieces of thread, run it, thread your needle, and you'll do a new loop. You'll run through a new loop on the back, like we did the first time.
Exactly.
Okay. For each new row, would you do that too? Or like?
No. You go until the thread runs out. You do a row, and when you finish it, if you've still got thread, then you do the next row that's beside it until you start running out of thread. And then you go underneath.
Okay.
Then you get a new thread.
And Georgia has another question.
Okay.
What do you do when you run out of thread, but you still have more of that color to do?
Then you just get another single thread like you did before, just exactly like you started before. You take the 2 ends together, put them through the needle, go through the loop when you do the first stitch, and you're right back in action again.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else?
Well, one of the cool things about cross stitch is that you can start learning your techniques. And then the next time, you know, if you have questions, you can call somebody, but you can go ahead and keep working on it. It'll take you more than one night to do it. It'll take you probably several days.
You just have to count, ladies. That's the most important thing, is you just count and recount. A lot of the times, like on this one, when I did that, sometimes I would count a row 3 or 4 times to make sure I was in the right place with the right color, and I knew how many squares to do. So it's not, don't worry about if you count it 2 or 3 times. That's the right thing to do. If you just count it once, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have to take it back out.
Do you have any of them that you've done with the half stitch?
Well, that one does, but you can't see them. But here's the butterfly. When my daughter did this one when she was 11, and we were talking about the half stitch, there's one right there. It butts up against the outline. There's the ears, and it uses the half stitch, so you can see those. She did this one when she was 11, and guess what? She got a blue ribbon, and it still hangs in my house.
Well, Miss Jo, do you want to show them how to stitch so they can know that?
I don't mind doing that. I've misplaced my needle now, and we just talked about how dangerous that is. And it's a big needle. There it is. Okay.
So what
we're gonna go back to this one. And what it means that you have to do is you've got your needle with thread, and you have to pierce the middle of the square, and that is not easy, so do not rush. You do it real easily, and you kind of push the threads apart. Now, if I were doing that on this one, that means
just a second. Avonlea had a question.
Okay.
I don't have a question, but this is pretty much all half stitch, isn't it?
No. Which pattern are you doing?
Avonlea didn't get a pattern from us. She had a kit. Just join us to learn how to do it.
Maybe when we get done here, if it's okay with your mom or dad, you might call my cell phone number on a FaceTime and let me see what you're actually, it's unusual for most of a pattern to be half stitches, but it could be, I don't know. But that's, unless you can you really close to the screen so we can see it?
Well, show us the pattern.
And who is it that we're talking to?
Avonlea.
Avonlea. Okay, I see Avonlea.
Okay, on the corners of your O's, those are half stitches, but the ones like in the M, those are full stitches. And then the back stitch we're going to learn next time, and that's what to the and back are done with. So you're not going to do those. Those are not X's. That's a back stitch. But the U, that's just regular X's. Does that help you? Okay. Okay, those of you that are doing half stitches, I was showing you how you have to pierce the fabric. See, this is the way this fabric is made, is there's several threads going this way and several threads going this way. And to do a half stitch, you have to go in the middle of those threads so that it's right in the middle of the square. And it's kind of hard for me to do that where you can see it.
If we're doing
Yes.
just
Yes,
Okay,
Rachel.
if we're doing just the cross stitch part today, can we go? Or do
Yes.
we need-
Yes.
Okay.
If you think you got it, you can definitely go.
Okay, well, bye.
Bye. Thanks, Rachel.
Okay, is there anybody who's needing me to show you how to do something before we all quit tonight?
Georgia, did you understand the half stitch? Great.
Just take your time with it. Don't rush them.
Taylor.
Taylor looks like she's got some good work going on there.
Taylor, hang on. Is the line on top? You see that, Liz?
It looks like there's one.
Oh, that's the dividing line. Never mind. You're good,
Yep.
Taylor.
Okay. I see what you're saying. There's one line between it, but good job, Taylor.
Liz, tell me the follow-up date.
Okay, the follow-up date is July 2nd at 7 o'clock. So that will be Thursday. And
then again on July the 6th.
And then again on July the 6th. And those will be to see how you're coming along, and Miss Jo can teach you anything else that you might need. Of course, you can always email her or call her and FaceTime if you have any questions.
And they're both at 7 o'clock, correct?
Yes. And Taylor said, thank you. I like doing it. It was fun. So.
Well, good.
Yes, Cambry.
I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Liz, Avonlea wants to know about how to get Joe's cell number. How are you distributing that?
It is actually
Avonlea just sent a
email that I sent.
Yes.
It's in the email that I sent to her. It's in the second paragraph.
Or we can give it to her to
I can
everybody
do that.
again
I
if
can
we-
put it
if
right
you-
in here. So
It
to
is
call
40. Go ahead.
405 416 3032. That is Joe's number. And then her email is joestage@aol.com.
So if you're on a phone or iPad or tablet or something like that, in the bottom right-hand corner, there should be like 3 dots on the side, and you click on that, and you can get to the chat. So you can see that if you're needing that, and that's if it's not automatically popping up on your phone.
Okay, I will. The Joe's phone number is 405 416 3032.
Yes, Kemper, are you still on? You want to show Kemper?
Is she still there?
Yeah.
Kemper, there's also a thing you can get, and now I've moved it so I don't see it, but it's a needle threader that you can buy. Oh, there it is. Have you ever seen one of those? And you put the thread through there, and then it goes through the needle, and that can help you thread it if you're needing something to help you thread it.
Okay.
The answer to number 10 was a highlighter. You use a highlighter to help you keep your place.
Yeah, to fill in the squares you finished.
On your pattern.
On your pattern, not your fabric.
Kemper, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Hey, Amanda Falconberry, you are not Amanda, are you?
No.
So what's your name?
Emily.
Emily. Okay, Amanda's your mom, isn't it? I thought so. She's a home ec teacher, right?
Yeah.
Does she teach? I thought so. Okay, cool. I just happened to notice that name, and I was like, wait a minute, I've heard that name before. She's gotten me to judge for some things, so I thought that was her. So cool. Anybody got any questions for Miss Jo?
Well, then what I would challenge you to do is to keep working on this for the next several days. And if you do have a question, give Miss Jo a call or send her an email, one of the two. She can probably help you. And then join us again on July 2nd at 7 o'clock. And we can answer any more questions and help you with your project. Jo, is there anything else you want to tell them?
No, I need you to remember, though, to help me remember to talk about skeins of thread, because I forgot to do that tonight. So
okay.
Help her. I thought everybody did a great job tonight. It's not easy to start, but once you get it, it's a fun, easy craft to do.
Okay, well then I think we're going to get off, and unless somebody else has something you need, and I think we've got you on your way to going to start it. So
okay, guys, so you can log off by hitting that little red button at the bottom, and we will see you on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Danny, before you leave,
Bye.
how was it? Are you learning to cross stitch, Danny? Oh, she froze up on me, maybe. There you are, maybe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Avonlea.
Bye, Avonlea.
Oh, Jo left us.
Jo left us.